Welcome to our deep dive comparing the B2 tourist visa versus the County Route 1 spousal immigrant visa for spouses of U.S. citizens. In this video, we will explain why the B2 shortcut is often a trap and why the County Route 1 is generally the safer and more reliable route to permanent residency. We will transition through the core concepts, common pitfalls, a step-by-step recommended path, and finish with key takeaways and a quiz to lock in your understanding. Here is our roadmap for the session. First, we establish why this decision matters. Next, we examine the immigrant intent problem that torpedoes many B2 applications for spouses. Then, we unpack why entering on a B2 and adjusting status can be considered misrepresentation. After that, we present the County Route 1 path, compare B2 and County Route 1, show evidence examples of home ties, give you a practical action plan, debunk the 90-day rule, and finish with key takeaways and quizzes. The context is straightforward but emotionally charged. Couples waiting for the County Route 1 immigrant visa often consider the B2 as a stopgap to be together sooner. However, the decision has high stakes because of how consular officers evaluate immigrant intent. As we move forward, we will make clear why the B2 path for a spouse is usually a dead end, and why patience with the County Route 1 tends to produce a stable, predictable outcome. Consular officers evaluate B2 applicants under a presumption of immigrant intent, which is even harder to overcome for spouses of U.S. citizens. Major factors include lack of prior international travel, weak ties to the home country such as unstable employment or limited assets, and a stated purpose of visit that resembles a stepping stone to relocation. Even a short itinerary and a round-trip ticket do not prove the intent to leave. Since the foreign spouse already has an immigrant pathway through the County Route 1, officers often interpret the B2 as an attempt to prematurely enter and remain, leading to denial. Now that we've mapped the problem, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: which factor most commonly undermines a B2 visa application for the spouse of a U.S. citizen? Options: a strong long-term employment in the home country, lack of travel history and weak home ties, a round-trip ticket and short itinerary, visiting in-laws for the holidays. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. The combination of a spousal relationship and weak indicators of returning home, such as minimal assets, unstable employment, or lack of travel history, makes it extremely difficult to prove temporary intent. Some advise entering on a B2 and then filing for adjustment of status. If a spouse enters declaring a tourist purpose but actually intends to apply for permanent residence, that can be considered misrepresentation. The consequences may be severe, including denial of permanent residence and the possibility of inadmissibility bars. The so-called 90-day rule is not a legal safe harbor. Officers focus on what the applicant intended at the time of admission. Therefore, using a B2 to bypass the County Route 1 process is risky and often counterproductive. Before moving on, let's check your grasp with one more quick quiz. Question: true or false? Waiting 90 days after entering on a B2 before filing adjustment of status guarantees you are safe from misrepresentation concerns. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is false. The 90-day notion is not binding law. Adjudicators examine the applicant's intent at the time of entry. Waiting does not guarantee protection from a finding of misrepresentation. On the left, the B2 visa exists for temporary visits and is not tailored for spouses seeking to live in the United States. Because of immigrant intent, denials are common for spouses. Misusing a B2 with preconceived immigrant intent can lead to serious findings. On the right, the County Route 1 visa is built for marriage-based immigration and, upon approval, confers permanent resident status. It is the compliant, stable path. As we proceed, we will look at evidence examples and a concrete action plan. This table contrasts examples of stronger versus weaker indicators of home ties. Longer-term employment, property obligations, dependents, prior compliant travel, and community links suggest stronger reasons to return. In contrast, limited assets, unstable employment, few dependents, and no travel history weaken the case. Keep in mind, even strong ties may not overcome the presumption of immigrant intent for a spouse, but they illustrate the standard of proof officers look for. Here is a practical County Route 1 action plan. First, file the I-130 with comprehensive evidence proving a bona fide marriage. Next, keep meticulous records, marriage certificate, joint financial documents, communication history, and affidavits. Then, monitor USCIS case milestones and proceed to the NVC stage for fee payments, affidavit of support, civil documents, and the DS-260. After that, complete the medical exam and attend the consular interview. Upon approval and U.S. entry, the spouse becomes a permanent resident and will receive a green card. Finally, ensure continued compliance with any conditions. Now, to visualize the timeline, let's look at a diagram. This timeline illustrates the County Route 1 journey from filing the I-130 through USCIS approval, followed by NVC processing steps such as fee payments, the affidavit of support, civil documents, and DS-260 submission. It then shows the medical exam, the consular interview, visa issuance, entry to the United States as a conditional permanent resident if applicable, and green card delivery. The sequence is approximate and does not imply exact timeframes. Next, we will provide a decision flowchart to help you choose your path. This decision flowchart starts by asking whether the applicant is married to a U.S. citizen. If the need is a temporary visit, it shows the B2 path and highlights the high risk of denial based on immigrant intent and the potential misrepresentational risk if the real intent is to immigrate. The alternate branch recommends filing the County Route 1, emphasizing that it is designed for marriage-based immigration and offers a predictable outcome upon approval. The best practice endpoint advises committing to the County Route 1 path. Let's address recurring myths. First, the 90-day rule is not a legal safe harbor. Adjudicators examine intent at the time of entries. Second, a round-trip ticket demonstrates logistics but does not prove an applicant will leave. Third, a short itinerary does not overcome the presumption of immigrant intent connected to the spousal relationship. Finally, a denied B2 typically does not harm a subsequent County Route 1 application. With those misconceptions cleared up, let's crystallize the key points. The core message is simple. First, B2 for spouses is frequently denied because of immigrant intent. Second, using a B2 with a plan to adjust status can be considered misrepresentation and may carry severe consequences. Third, the County Route 1 is designed for marriage-based immigration and offers a predictable outcome once approved. Fourth, a denied B2 usually does not damage a subsequent County Route 1, though it wastes resources. Therefore, the best practice is to commit to the County Route 1 path from the outset. Disclaimer: this content is informational and does not constitute legal advice. Immigration outcomes depend on specific facts, documents, and adjudicator discretion. For personalized guidance, consult a qualified immigration attorney licensed in your jurisdiction. As we approach our summary, remember that prudent, compliant choices tend to produce the most reliable outcomes. In summary, a B2 approach for a spouse of a U.S. citizen faces steep headwinds due to immigrant intent. The adjustment of status after B2 tactic may constitute misrepresentation and carries significant risk. Conversely, the County Route 1 is designed for marriage-based immigration and leads to permanent resident status upon approval. Therefore, the recommended strategy is to commit to a robust County Route 1 application with thorough evidence and steady follow-through. Finally, to reinforce your learning, here's a quick visual recap and a closing note. Thank you for watching. If you found this useful, please like the video, share it with someone navigating the same decision, and subscribe for more clear, compliance-first immigration content. What questions do you still have about the County Route 1 or B2 paths? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.